Testing, Rosalie, can you hear me okay? Testing, testing. Rosalie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ah, it works.
Yes, I can. I need to I can't sit in that room.
Now your voice is crackly.
As is yours.
I'm hearing Gary okay. Rosalie is sounding laggy.
Oh, wonderful. Is it still?
Yeah,
It
I can hear you
must
fine across the
be.
hall, but yeah, it's yes, it's not translating to the video recording. But Gary's feed seems to be fine and seems to be audio. I'm not having any audio issues or anything.
Yeah, yours sounds bad, so maybe in that room. Is it still bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, Tanya. Maybe just your headphones.
Maybe.
It was, I mean, her whole feed, it wasn't, the crackling is, yes, it's a symptom, but it was her whole video feed, and like the delay between me being able to hear her across the hall and hearing her in the camera was like a good 10 seconds. So I think, I don't know why, but there was some sort of tech issue.
There. Oh, that's interesting. No, because you're talking? No, I won't be talking today.
Yeah, you will for the monthly financials.
Oh, Steve sent an email saying he didn't want to do that either, so it's fine.
Well,
Well, he did.
I bet you. Bet you milkshake.
I bet you can't not bring up something on that list.
Hey, everybody.
Mr. Rogers, greetings, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm here
Hi there. Thanks for calling in.
passing out milkshakes.
Well, we're debating. It's nice and warm outside. A good day for milkshakes.
Yeah.
Mallory, did you receive any interest in public comments in advance of the meeting? I guess I'll just walk around and ask her.
I was on mute. I don't know. She's still on mute.
We're live.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hey, greetings.
Good to see you, everyone.
Look at that.
You're free.
3 for 3. I'm bringing you something.
Did you listen to it? Make sure it wasn't ticking.
Alrighty, Gary Clark, my clock is showing 2 o'clock and I think we've got everybody on the call, correct? We ready to roll?
He just stepped out for a minute. Check with
Everybody
Mallory.
but Gary.
He's
Okay.
here.
Ta-da.
There he is.
All right. I think we're ready to roll. We're at the appointed time, so I appreciate everybody joining us today. At the outset, as part of the welcome, I do want to suggest a couple of amendments to the agenda. We received a number of budget questions and questions on the financials. So Steve, thank you for doing such a thorough review. But in the interest of allowing staff time to compile those responses so that we can all have them for our consideration, I think it might be best to defer action on the budget until a subsequent meeting, if everybody agrees with that. Along those same lines, I would suggest deferring on the financial report. I think the two are fairly well coupled and the budget is embedded in that anyway. And then finally, Reed, I was sorry to hear you had opted not to apply for the city manager's job, but before we consider election of officers, I thought it might be worthwhile hearing sort of what the city's timeline is on that. So perhaps we defer on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So appreciate that. So I certainly would want the next city manager to have the opportunity to weigh in on those election of officers and as that person takes over. So exact timeline, we're not sure. Hopefully sometime this summer we'll have a new manager and potentially a new member of this group. So we'll see what happens. Now maybe we could wait on that election for a couple of, probably next meeting.
Okay, so I think if it's agreeable with everyone, that would reduce our agenda to the public comment, consideration of the minutes, the solar proposal. Clark, I think we can proceed with your report and then any other business. Steve, Susan, Reed, does that sound doable for you all today?
Yes, yes.
Sounds great.
Susan, are you good with that?
I am. I'm sorry you didn't hear me.
No, that's fine. I apologize as well. I'm still with the lags in Zoom.
I know.
Okay, so Gary Clark, if we could proceed accordingly with that amended agenda, I think our next order of business is the public comment. Can you advise if anybody is available or has registered to offer comment?
At this time, I have not received any requests to submit a public comment.
Okay, thank you. I see a couple other names on the meeting list here. Is anybody on the call that would like to offer public comment at this time? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll move on. So I think the next order of business is the meeting minutes. What's the authority's pleasure on those?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second on the minutes. We'll do roll call again since this is virtual. All those in favor, please say aye. Mr. Carter,
Yes, aye.
Mr. Wodeka,
Aye.
Mrs. Adams,
Aye.
chair votes yes. Thank you all very much. All right, Clark, that takes us to the solar proposal, please.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, again, we received a unsolicited proposal for the project in December of 2020. It's a utility scale 30 to 40 megawatt solar panel installation on about 150 acres of land owned by Region 2000. At this time, we're just looking at Region 2000 land. And that number isn't set in stone. It could be less than that if necessary, depending on how, if we decide to move forward and, the whole negotiation process. Buffers and site distances and site view sheds would be, of course, part of the proposal and the planning and engineering process. They're projecting about enough power to supply about 5,000 homes per year, for a year, excuse me. And it's, again, private funds for the development and construction of the project. Just for some information from the proposer, just a ballpark lease amount from the proposer is about $500 an acre per year. So that's kind of a starting point of where what we could possibly expect from this project. And so that kind of gives us an idea of the money involved. I am getting lots of correspondence and letters and interest in a solar project from other companies as well. But this is the proposal we have on the table. Again, it's like we say in the summary. It's a question of generating income for the authority by placing the solar cells on the solar panels on our closed cell and some of the unneeded Bennett property. And accepting the proposal would authorize the staff to move forward with all offers that are willing to submit a formal proposal. So accepting the project would just allow us to have an initial review and invite other entities to submit competing proposals once the initial review is complete. That's any questions about the project?
Thank you, Clark. Any questions for Clark?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a question. How much does the authority collect through receipt of a PPEA?
The PPA initially is required to for the proposer to submit a $5,000 deposit.
Okay, that's
plus,
someone.
And there is also allowances for additional review money if needed.
Okay, thank you, Clark.
Mm-hmm. And they did submit that check. However, I believe it was a 90-day period on the check. So I believe the check has expired, but there wouldn't be any issue with renewing that deposit if we move forward.
All right, thank you. Steve, looks like you've got a question there.
Yeah, I looked at this again, and the only thing I saw about actual revenues was it said it would generate, I think it said 50 million over 30 years, but it didn't specify where those revenues would go. So it'd be really helpful to me to know how much the county would realize from this if the authority voted for it, because from my perspective, maybe two of our partners won't agree, but that may help mitigate another problem we have.
Yeah, I don't know about the revenues that the county would receive. I don't know if there's any local county taxes that the company would have to pay. I do, just for, if we leased them 100 acres, that would generate about $50,000 a year for just the authority.
Mhm.
At this point, we're not proposing to put any of the panels on any Campbell County owned land. Right now we're just focusing on Region 2000 Services Authority land.
So I guess, sorry, I hadn't thought it through. Frank, can I continue? So
Yes,
Bill,
sir. Please do.
would the private entities infrastructure on the authority be taxable, on the authority's property be taxable by the county?
Could be, yep. It's leased property and county can get tax on leased property.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, I mean, Frank, how would y'all tax it? Machineries and tools or personal property or what?
Yeah, I'd have to get with the commissioner. As I recall, the M&T is 80% exempt still. And I know there's some new legislation out with siting agreements and all that we just started discussing yesterday, Steve. So I will answer with all candor. I don't know. And so it's still an open question. But it has been my experience in the past, most of the benefit of this, of course, accrues to the owner through the lease revenue. The tax revenues haven't really been compelling. Now, again, all subject to change under the new rules, if you will.
Frank, Steve?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We've had a lot of discussions about the solar farms and the permitting process. And I think it's up to the locality to adopt whether they would accept the M&T, which is, like Frank said, 80% exemption, or they would adopt an ordinance that says they would get $1,400 annually per megawatt. They have to make that choice and apply it to the solar farm. So I'm not sure, has Campbell adopted anything yet, Frank?
No, we have not. We just started that discussion, as I said, yesterday, and you're absolutely, I'll say absolutely right, although I don't understand all the nuance yet. It's the $1,400 revenue share or the M&T, but there's also language about negotiations around a siting agreement and the like. So still trying to understand all the moving parts. So I think that maybe there's a conversation around solar, but this came in unsolicited. And I think maybe it's a little premature. I think we need to sort of figure out what, if anything, we want to consider around solar, give Campbell a little time to figure out, are we going to adopt that ordinance and the like to get some more clarity on these answers. So I just, I don't think from my perspective, there's a need to take this up just yet. I think if we have an interest in doing solar, Clark indicated he's heard from other firms, we can go out and do a solicitation and structure it that way. That's my 2 cents as an authority member.
Yeah, I completely agree with Frank.
I do too.
Yeah, sorry, Frank.
And I'm not sure how that aligns
is.
with the plan here.
This meeting's being recorded, Steve. I'd just like to note that. I'll cherry pick it later. Reed, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm sort of not interested in moving forward with this public for different reasons that we discussed at the last meeting, but I'm not interested in moving forward.
Okay, so that would seem to be pretty clear consensus from the authority. Do we need any formal action?
You do not.
We do not? Okay.
No.
So at the risk of sounding a little snarky, does this put this to bed? We've had this in front of us a couple of times now, and I would just sort of like to be clear that we are done with this, correct?
Well, I changed my answer then. If you really don't want to consider this at all, you have to vote not to accept the proposal. And then the $5,000 goes back, the proposal goes back, and then everything's done. And then if you want to do a solicited proposal sometime in the future, you can do it. But you do need to vote whether to accept or not accept this proposal. So if you're, rather than putting it off and considering it down the road, if you really want to be done with it, probably have a motion to not accept the proposal.
Okay.
So I'll move to not accept the proposal.
Okay, we've got a motion from Reed. Can I get a second?
Second, I guess.
All right, we got a motion, a second. Any more discussion? Okay, so we'll do roll call. Susan? The vote
Yes.
is, okay, so you agree with rejecting the proposal?
Yes.
Okay. Steve?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, motion carries. Thank you all. Anything else on that before we move on to the director's report? Okay, let's move on to the director's report.
Okay, first off, the tonnage, you have the bar chart. March was pretty huge month for us. We were real busy. Again, the tonnage is up again through to date over last year. So we continue to track in the same direction, upwards as far as tonnage. But I'm just hesitant to make any major adjustments in our budget until you get some more data. With the uncertainty and the whole pandemic issues we've dealt with has really kind of made the solid waste market be kind of interesting over the last year.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm glad to see tonnage is up for the purpose of providing the revenue to the authority. And I don't want to get into the budget conversation, but it'll be interesting to hear a little more about how you've considered that in your budget projection. And I'm interested specifically on the commercial tonnage what staff's projection in the next couple of years. I know County Waste is doing some things in Roanoke, and would that have any impact? So again, don't need to get into it today, but just sort of adding to the list of questions from Steve, some things for staff to contemplate and provide some information.
Okay, that's a good segue. I did want to give you an update from my last report about the county waste contracts with Roanoke Valley Resource Authority. I do understand that the Roanoke Valley Resource Authority has accepted a proposal from County Waste to accept 100,000 tons a year of waste to be direct hauled to their Smith Gap landfill, which they're converting from rail to a long haul road. I understand that haul road will be complete probably late summer, early fall. I don't have a timeline on when the county waste would begin taking them waste, but I know they're constructing a transfer station in the Botetourt area. And I also understand that there is some recent construction activity at their Appomattox site for their transfer station. I'm not sure. It was just reported that there's some heavy equipment and some survey stakes out there. I did get a copy of the proposal from the county waste proposal, and I was particularly interested in the source of that waste because I understand that the Roanoke Botetourt area, which is where they're operating, they take in about 35,000 tons a year. So there's an additional 65,000 tons that they're proposing that's coming from somewhere. The proposal says Botetourt and Lynchburg area. So I think we really need to keep an eye on the developments there.
I would say it certainly sounds like we should. So what I heard you just tell me is County Waste is proposing to haul a volume of commercial trash equal to the commercial tonnage they deliver to us to Roanoke. And that may be operational sometime in the fall. So that would be FY 22.
I don't know what they meant by the Lynchburg area. I did speak with a representative from Roanoke Resource Authority, and I was told that it could come from points west of Roanoke, all the way from Pulaski to Roanoke, could come from points east, and through all the way out to Appomattox, and even up in the Charlottesville area. So I'm not sure exactly where that additional tonnage would actually come from. And without a transfer station, I would find it probably cost prohibitive to haul that much waste from this region to their facility. I guess they plan on taking as much as they can through their Troutville transfer station, which is under construction, and direct haul it from there to Smith Gap.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
I think if we need information from County Waste, we need to have a County Waste representative at our meetings giving us the facts, and we not base opinions on speculations.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, would probably be very helpful. I guess my point, and again, I'm sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get questions together for when we consider the budget, is if that commercial tonnage is going to go elsewhere, have we factored that in for budget projections going forward?
No.
Yeah, so maybe we need a model that does.
Well, I have modeled it just in case. Earlier this year, we took a look at it. So, it would give us, probably a few more years of capacity, but our tipping fees would go up.
Has anybody reached out and asked for these numbers from County Waste or any other haulers?
I just got a copy of the proposal since it's public information.
Okay, but has anybody contacted County Waste? I'm sure they would be happy to provide that information.
No, I haven't. This is, kind of recent developments. Matter of fact, I just found out most of this information this morning.
Well, you're telling me stuff I don't even know about Appomattox, so I would like to know if is certainly factual.
Yeah, I received a call from a representative just to give me a heads up, and you know, all this information is public information. So,
What kind of representative?
an
A
employee,
representative what?
yeah, from Roanoke Valley Resource Authority.
Yeah, but who called you to give you heads up?
Well, I would prefer not to mention his name, but
Isn't that public information?
yeah, it was Dan Miles, the authority director.
Thank you.
Steve, it looks like you've got a question, sir.
Yes, can we, Clark, can we get the contract information on this to see how much they're charging county waste?
Yeah, I believe the numbers that I've seen are somewhere in the neighborhood of $26 per ton.
Mhm. Yeah, and would you reiterate, please, how much tonnage does county waste haul to our facility? And then on some assumption, what would they haul from? Are you saying that would be an equal amount they would potentially send to Roanoke?
I don't know. Like I said, all the information that I have is from the proposal, and it says that the waste would originate from Botetourt and Lynchburg area.
Well, Bedford, Albemarle, Charlottesville, I think they struggle with their waste. So who knows?
Right. Yeah. Again, this is fairly new information, and I just thought it was important. You know, we brought it up last meeting, and I just wanted to give you an update.
So I think Susan's made a good point. Perhaps at our next meeting, we could have somebody from County Waste here. I agree, Bedford, Albemarle, other places have challenges, but with the transfer station coming up right in our region, I have to believe some portion of the commercial tonnage would go there and then out instead of coming to our landfill. But Susan makes the right point. That's conjecture on my part.
Right.
So why don't we get some folks in the room and start having this conversation? So I appreciate you updating us. I think it's good for us to be aware, particularly looking forward in terms of what the impacts could be, but it will be helpful to get some information from the source and dealing on facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should look at if any of this really comes to impact is, you know, adjusting our commercial rate to be more competitive.
Yeah, we've kicked around, you know, some tiered rates based on volume. So, you know, that might be a discussion that we might need to have again.
And it would help offset some of the hit, but it would still mean the rest of us subsidizing that loss some kind of way. So, you know, it just takes a bad situation and makes it a little bit better, I guess.
Well, they're a business. So, you know, when, you know, decisions come down to, you know, bottom line in most situations.
They tend to in counties as well.
It's a long haul from here to Troutville from in the south, especially if you're going to try to direct haul waste.
Yeah, Troutville and then to Roanoke, that's 2 hauls.
That's right.
They aren't that short, you know.
Yeah, so the $26 a ton, you know, that's just the disposal fee at the landfill. There's significant costs, you know, between the landfill and the origination point as well.
I mean, we're paying Thompson Trucking, I don't have the exact number, between $280 and $320 a haul to the landfill. And we're averaging about 21 tons. So, you know, that's where it can be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
As you said, Clark.
Yeah.
I still think we can beat them at the game if we just play our cards right.
Anything else on the director's report, Clark?
Odor complaints. Just an update. Since the last meeting, we've had 5 complaints from 3 addresses and 4 different days. That's all I have for the update on the odor complaints.
Okay, and that concludes your report, I presume?
Yes.
Any questions for Clark? Okay, that moves us to other business from members or staff. Do we have anything else? Gary?
Mr. Chairman, could we pick a date for our next meeting?
Well, that's the next thing is next meeting. Let's do other business first. If there is no other business from authority members, let's go ahead and get into the next meeting. We had flagged it for July 28th. Obviously, that'll be too late without a budget. So I presume we want to get together maybe late May. Is that sufficient time for staff to get responses together to Mr. Carter and the rest of us on his questions?
You'd have 3 weeks.
Yes.
So May 26th gives the staff 3 weeks and gives you 1 week to look at it.
What do y'all think? I'm good with that.
Yeah, I don't think my questions were that difficult, so just lengthy. Sorry.
What's that again?
I
May
believe it-
26th, 2 o'clock.
26?
That's
That will
right.
not work.
26th is out.
We do 27th in the morning. Does that work? You ready?
That works.
Does that
Yep.
work for you, Susan? I'm sorry.
Yes, that works. I have to take my mom to Duke on the 25th. I'm sorry.
Okay. I will make the 27th work as well. It looks like, Steve, you said yes to that, right? I got you right?
Yes.
All right, so let's do May 27th in the AM. Reed, can we get a little clarity there? Are you thinking 10-ish?
Thinking 10. Yeah.
10 o'clock on the 27th, guys? How's that look?
That works.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know, I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Who we got?
This is Carrie Kling from the solar project. I think I didn't realize you were moving so fast on your agenda.
Well,
Was
this
there a
will
vote
be a
on
little awkward for you then. We voted not to accept the proposal at this time.
Hopefully not because I wasn't there.
No, ma'am.
Okay, was there any feedback on that? You're just not what you want to do right now.
I think that would summarize it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. And then on the 27th, are we thinking another electronic meeting?
As long as the
Yes.
governor doesn't lift the emergency by then. He's going to at some point, but I don't know when.
I mean, is that still the pleasure of the authority members?
It is for me.
Okay, so we'll plan on an electronic meeting the 27th at 10 a.m. unless the governor changes the rules and we have to revisit it, right?
Yep.
Okay, if there is no other business, any other business? Very good. I think we're at a point where we can adjourn.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
All right, we'll
Thanks,
stand
everybody.
adjourned. Thank you all.